It's me, Kelsey Nicole Owens, your friend and ally here in Texas, Houston, Texas, where the people who know things go for problems. Like fucking astronauts ask Houston for solutions. Houston, we have a problem. Well, I was born in Houston, and necessity is the mother of invention, apparently. Today I got the memo. I call them memos, not downloads, because everyone is calling them downloads these days. I call them memos because I just have to be different. It's a memo. I'm getting memos from the cosmos. We're friends. Consciousness and me. I got the memo today. A little bit of clarity on an area where I was going wrong. I'm an only daughter, an only child, an only woman of a woman who was miserable and alone and had to have me because she needed something, like most women decide to have children because they think that they're supposed to, they think it's the next step, they think they're just supposed to. It's like buying a pair of shoes or a handbag, or oh, I get to name something like a puppy. My whole life I just wanted to serve, like be of use. I never thought about money. I only just wanted to help. And I knew since I was a fetus that my mother was massively unhappy and she was lost and she was alone and she was miserable. And I just thought, since I was a little girl, God, if I could just make my mother happy. And then my father got sick, and then I had to become the man of the house. Like seriously, I had to become. I felt like I had to become the man of the house because my mother lost it. She was not built for such things, but I was, or it built me because I'm stoic as fuck when the shit hits the fan. No matter how wise I get beyond my years, I can never reach my mother. I've always felt like my mother's mother. My mother's always felt like a sister, a bully, kind of. Emotional intelligence is not what it would be nice to be, if that makes any sense. But since I went through what I went through with my father and having to like hold the fort emotionally, there was no safe place for me to fall apart. I was 15. There was no safe place for me to cry. So and that, it's a gift. And still to this day, my mother comes to me for advice because I give sound advice. But the thing is, the memo I got, the epiphany, because I keep trying to help my mom. I keep trying to help her. And I realized today that she has got such a block, as do most parents of wise children and grown adult children, whatever. Their egos will never allow them to accept what you have to tell them. But you could give advice to anyone in the whole wide world, just not your parents, because you're younger than them and they've known you since, especially as a mother, since you were a fucking fetus. So even if you could save their life, keep them from jumping off a cliff with the retards they're with, they're never going to listen to you. Ever. Ever. They can't. They're just blocked because you're their kid. And it's just, it's not possible for you to know more than them because they're older. even though you've been through way more in certain ways. The memo I also got, I get like these visions, like I see these pictures, and I understood today that parents are like training wheels on a bike. And when you're younger and you lose your parents, you lose your training wheels real quick. And you have to learn your balance real quick. And it's with you longer. But it's more frightening for these people who have their parents their whole lives and they're grown ass adults, like my mom. And they're used to going to their parents for wisdom and looking up to their parents like they're gods and shit. And then they lose their parents. It's quite frightening because they don't have those authority figures to go to anymore. They often watch the news and look to others, not me. When I saw my daddy go into Bentop Hospital because he got fired and lost his health insurance, and we had to go to a charity hospital and see different doctors every single time. They practiced medicine on him. I learned the false sense of security that is the world. The people that most people look up to, that false sense of security that it's all going to be okay, that someone will have it figured out. It's false. It's a false sense of security. I witnessed these white coats scratching their heads, not knowing what the fuck to do for my daddy. And I realized that I have to figure everything out for myself at the age of 11, which just so happens to be my gift and why I am so stoic when the shit really hits the fan. So if you've lost your parents at an early age, you'll know what I'm talking about. And for those who still have their parents and they're tra la 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 through life and you're scared, you should be. You need to start thinking for yourself. Necessity is the mother of invention. I was born as an aid because my mother was crying out for help. And I think that generation was crying out for help. And I think a lot of us were born because our parents were just miserable and alone and scared emotionally, like emotional intelligence wise, um, crying out for help. So they just wanted to love something and they wanted to be loved. So they had us children in the 80s and 90s. And then we're here. And ones like me who feel like I have like this responsibility, this job to do. And it transcends money. It's like a purpose to solve something. And people like Elon Musk talk about this. I have, I have, it's like I can't help it. I have to solve something. Like I have to solve the world's problems. I know a lot of people have this disposition. Um, but I'm coming to the realization that I've been spinning my tires in the mud trying to help my mom when I could help just women. I can use all that passion and all that desire to like make a difference and just like help women who are like needing my help. So that's what I'm going to do. And I have a daughter and she's an excellent writer and I love her, but she's caught in between my mother and I. And when she grows up, she'll realize what's what. It's all in the family, which is where I get my name. That 70s show, All in the Family. Archie Bunker was only happy in one place. Well, two places. His chair. Get out of my chair. uh, and Kelsey's bar. I'm a safe place for all the Archie bunkers in the world, I guess. That's where I get my name. My father thought that was necessary, I guess. It's my favorite relationship in the world. The thing I'm in love with is consciousness. That's my favorite relationship, and it will always be the case. I'm in love with consciousness and the memos I get. I'm addicted to it, um, which is why I lead such a clean life because the messages are clear. So I'm Kelsey Nicole Owens, your friend and ally here in just outside of Houston, Texas, where all the big boys go with their problems, even NASA. You got problems? Houston, they always go to Houston, traditionally, because we have solutions. KNO, Noans.